There's something worse than death, and that's being alive, but not truly living. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world obsessed with survival. We eat, we breathe, we exist. But let me ask you this, are you really living, or just waiting to die? So many of us bury our dreams, our fire, our voice, long before our hearts ever stop beating. Today, I want to talk to you about a different kind of death, a silent one, a slow one, a death that creeps in every time you say, I'm not good enough. A death that steals your spark every time you choose fear over faith. There's something worse than death, and that's being alive, but not truly living. Most people go through life doing just enough to get by. They follow the rules, stay quiet when they want to speak, and choose comfort over growth. But life isn't meant to be survived, it's meant to be lived with fire, passion, and purpose. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to stand out, to take up space, to walk into a room and not shrink, but shine. Living boldly means owning your identity and embracing your imperfections. It's about trusting your instincts when everyone else doubts you. It means saying yes to opportunities that scare you and no to things that drain you. It's not about being reckless, it's about being real. It's choosing your voice over silence, even when your voice trembles. When you live boldly, you stop waiting for permission. You realize you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You don't have to be fearless to move forward. Bold living demands that you stop performing for others and start living for yourself. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's real. The truth is, every single one of us will leave this world someday. But far too many leave long before they're gone because they lived a life based on expectations instead of aspirations. That's the real tragedy. You only get one shot at this, so why live it quietly? Be loud in your dreams, be wild in your love, be relentless in your fight. Don't shrink to fit places you've outgrown. Don't apologize for wanting more. Go where your heart roars, not where it whispers. This isn't a rehearsal. It's your one wild, unpredictable, extraordinary life. So live it, not safely, not quietly, but boldly like you were always meant to. There's a strange pressure in this world to be content with just enough. Just enough success to not seem arrogant, just enough ambition to stay likable, just enough dreams to not make others uncomfortable. But let's be honest, wanting more for your life isn't selfish. It's self-awareness. If you feel a fire inside you, if you know you're meant for something bigger, don't apologize for that. Don't tone it down just to fit in. Your desire for more isn't greed, it's growth. It means you're not settling for a life that looks good on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. We're taught to play small, especially when people around us haven't found the courage to chase their own dreams. But you shrinking your vision doesn't help anyone else grow. You're not responsible for how others perceive your ambition. You are only responsible for honoring it. You're allowed to want more love, more success, more peace, more power, more purpose. You're allowed to outgrow relationships, routines, and roles that no longer serve who you're becoming. That's not betrayal, that's evolution. Think about it, every invention, every movement, every legacy began with someone who wanted more and refused to apologize for it. That drive is what pushes the world forward. So why not you? If you feel pulled towards something greater, follow it, trust it, build it, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. You don't owe the world an apology for dreaming big, you owe yourself the courage to pursue it. Stop shrinking to be digestible, be full, be fierce, be unapologetically driven. Wanting more doesn't make you ungrateful, it makes you asterisk awake. Asterisk failure is often viewed as something to hide, to be ashamed of, or to sweep under the rug. We've been conditioned to fear it, to avoid it at all costs, and to believe that a failure defines us. But what if we shifted the narrative? What if failure wasn't the end, but the beginning? What if it was something to be celebrated, not avoided? The truth is, failure is not just a part of life, it's a necessary ingredient for success. Every single person who has achieved something extraordinary has failed at some point. What sets them apart is not their perfection, but their willingness to fail loudly and proudly. They didn't shrink away when things didn't go according to plan. They didn't apologize for falling short. They used each failure as a stepping stone, as a lesson to fuel their next attempt. When you fail loudly, you stop hiding behind excuses. You embrace it as a powerful moment of growth. You stand tall and say, "This didn't work, but I will try again." You don't internalize failure as a personal flaw. Instead, you see it as a tool, a teacher. Every time you fall, you learn something new about the world, about yourself, and about how to do things better next time. Failing proudly means owning your mistakes without shame. It's having the courage to say, I tried. I didn't make it this time, but I'm not done yet. Failure isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of your commitment to pushing boundaries and reaching for something beyond what you know. So, the next time you fail, don't shy away from it. Fail loudly, fail proudly, because it means you're alive, you're evolving, and you're one step closer to where you're meant to be. For most of us, there's a constant, nagging need to be accepted. We seek validation from our friends, our family, our colleagues, even strangers on social media. We look for approval, and in doing so, we often forget the most important approval we need, our own. We've been taught to conform, to follow the rules, and to stay within the lines. But living a life based on the approval of others is like living in a cage of your own creation. Every time you seek permission to be yourself, you lock yourself in a little more. You hand over your power, your voice, and your truth, all in the name of being liked, of fitting in, of avoiding judgment. The truth is, you'll never be everyone's cup of tea, and that's not only okay, it's essential. The more you try to conform to the expectations of others, the more you dilute your uniqueness. You end up living a life that isn't yours, but a reflection of the image others have created for you. That's not freedom. That's a form of self-sabotage. It's time to break free. Cut the chains of approval. Stop waiting for permission to live the life you're capable of living. Own your choices, your dreams, and your path. Understand that you don't need to shrink to make others comfortable, nor do you need to seek constant validation. The truth is, when you stop seeking approval, you find your authentic self. You realize that your worth is not defined by anyone else's opinion but your own. When you cut those chains, you unlock a life of limitless possibility, a life that is true to you. A life where your voice is loud, your dreams are big, and your authenticity is your greatest strength. Don't let the fear of judgment keep you from living your truth. The only person's approval you need is yours. Pain is something we all experience at some point, emotional, physical, or psychological. It's an inevitable part of life. But what if pain didn't have to be a burden? What if it could be transformed into something empowering, something that pushes us to rise higher than we ever thought possible? The reality is, pain doesn't define us unless we allow it to. It doesn't have to be a symbol of weakness or defeat. Instead, pain can become the very thing that shapes us into the people we were always meant to be. It can fuel our strength, sharpen our focus, and push us beyond our limits. Every time you experience pain, you have a choice: to let it break you or to let it build you. What many don't realize is that our most profound growth comes from the most difficult times in our lives. It's when we face hardship that we discover our inner resilience, our ability to keep going even when everything seems impossible. Pain forces us to confront our vulnerabilities, but it also reveals our power that we never knew existed until we were tested. Turning pain into power is not about ignoring the hurt or pretending it doesn't matter. It's about acknowledging it, learning from it, and using it as fuel to propel us forward. Each scar, each tear, each moment of struggle becomes a testament to your strength, a symbol of how far you've come. When you embrace pain, rather than running from it, you gain control over your narrative. You turn a moment of suffering into a chapter of triumph. You use the lessons learned to inspire and empower not just yourself, but others as well. Pain becomes the catalyst for a power that is unstoppable, unshakable, and ultimately transformative. So often in life, we let circumstances, people, and expectations dictate our paths. We follow a script that others have written for us, shaping our decisions, our dreams, and our reality. But what if I told you that the most powerful thing you can do is take the pen back into your own hands? What if you could write your own ending, one that truly reflects who you are and what you want to become? The reality is, life is not a fixed narrative. We aren't bound to a pre-written story that we must simply follow. Every day, we are given the choice to create our next chapter. The problem is, many of us forget that we are the authors of our lives. We allow fear, self-doubt, and past mistakes to keep us in roles we've outgrown. We think we're stuck in the same old story, unable to change the plot, but that's just not true. When you take control of your story, you start making choices that align with your true desires, not what others think you should do. You stop living in the shadow of past failures and begin writing a narrative that is inspired by hope, passion, and courage. You realize that you don't need anyone else's approval to pursue your dreams, and you don't need to play it safe to avoid criticism. The power is yours to choose how your story ends, and the beauty is, it's never too late to rewrite it. Your past doesn't have to dictate your future. The mistakes you've made are just lessons, not the final chapter. You have the ability to shape your future, to create an ending that is as bold, beautiful, and unique as you are. Don't wait for someone else to tell you how your story goes. It's your life, write it however you want.